Hey there, and welcome to Throw Up Thursday. I'm your host, Dr. JJ Kelly, the punk rock doc.
Hello, and welcome back to Throw Up Thursdays. I'm Dr. JJ Kelly, the punk rock doc, and how this live works is anybody that comes on, you can ask me a question in the comments, and there's even a question section I don't really know how to use, but you probably do, because you're on this more than I am. So you can ask me a question if you want. In the meantime, I am going to just talk about the shit that's been going on that I've heard about since this has all been going on. Somebody next to me. And I'm in San Francisco. You know, I think this is the first time I've been in the city since COVID started. Yeah, I think it is. I opted to have a meeting in the park. We had a first meeting with this awesome woman, powerhouse, in Washington Square Park today. And it was really nice to be back in the city, and it was really nice to have the drive as per usual. So I think that what I've been hearing a lot in the last couple of weeks, well, a couple things. One is people are fatigued by all of this. And I mean, we all are, right? Everything's a little bit harder than it was. And there's a heaviness in the air, in the world. And what I've been hearing a lot is people saying, oh, I'm feeling so behind. I'm feeling like I'm not getting anything done. I'm feeling like I can't get as much done as I used to. And first of all, for those of you who have worked with me, those aren't technically feelings. So those are thoughts. Just because we say I feel doesn't make them feelings. And maybe next time I can do that that diagram about how to separate thoughts and feelings. So that's first. But what I hear underneath that I feel tired, I feel behind kind of thing is shoulds. Hella shoulds. And the way that people are judging themselves in their own heads. And, you know, if I'm hearing it out loud, that's the tip of the iceberg. That means if they're saying it out loud to me or to anyone, I mean, especially me, because they know that I'm like listening for that kind of thing. But when they say something like that, and I can hear the shoulds underneath, it prompts me to want to talk today about validation. And for everyone that has worked with me or even knows me socially, they've heard me say that word a lot. And in the program that I teach, I'm calling it the Get Real program, my 8-week program based on the principles of dialectical behavior therapy, the foundation is validation. And let me tell you how that works, because we don't validate all thoughts, even when they're said like feelings. I feel behind. We don't want to validate everything we think, because we think all kinds of dark shit, crazy shit, weird shit that we might not necessarily want to treat as fact. But we do validate all feelings of ourselves and of others. So what that looks like is naming your emotions. If you catch yourself thinking something like, I feel behind, okay, if you think you are behind, how does that make you feel? And usually it's some sort of anxiety, shame, that kind of a thing, dread, embarrassment, or disappointment. I mean, you name it for you. I can't define your feelings for you, but those are some of the general ones that come up with shoulds. I mean, we say should is shame, so might want to check out shame. So so we name the emotions, and just in putting an emotion word to what you're feeling, that is an inherently validating process. So You can add stuff to that. You can say something like, okay, I feel scared, and that's okay. You can even say, I feel scared and I don't like that. I mean, that's still valid because you're naming the emotion. And then that helps bring that emotion a little bit closer to your baseline, to your walking around calm, to your not triggered, not activated, like natural state. So you name the emotions, you might tack on and it's okay, and I don't like it. What do I want to do about it? But the validation has to come before any sort of like self-coaching or problem solving. You don't want to get into the problem solving before the validation. And that's the same as when that process is the same when you're with others. So if someone says to you, I'm feeling really scared and kind of embarrassed about the lack of work I got done today, you don't argue, you don't problem solve. We validate. And maybe you don't agree with them, but you don't need to agree with them in order to validate. You can simply say, that sucks. That sounds rough. You look like you feel shame. Something that meets them where they are. And it has to be true. Like, don't say, oh yeah, I understand, if you don't. You can say something like, oh, that sucks. Do you want to vent, or do you want me to help you problem solve? And then they can choose. Because if you rush in and you're like, well, no, you got tons done today, there's a bit of a miss in our connection with others when we don't first meet them where they are and then problem solve, if they even want to. We might just empathically listen. We might actively listen. And a lot of times, active listening means paying attention and not saying anything. Just being present with that person. Eye contact, nodding, showing that you are listening. And not showing like you're pretending, just demonstrating that you are actively listening. So that is how we validate others. And if you don't think that you're very skilled in validating others, start with validating yourself. Build up that skill set first, and then start trying it with others. And then when you try it with others, start trying to do it with others when you actively disagree with them. If I think somebody's making their own messes, I'm not going to say, oh, wow, well, no, I might say it's really hard for you. I mean, that's an actually genuine validation statement. But I'm not going to say something like, oh, I totally understand, or, oh, yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't really say the right and wrong thing anyway, but I'm not going to lie, even a white lie with it. I might be like, ooh, yikes. So are we problem solving around that? Or is this a venting thing? So however that is true for you, say that statement. But again, that's validation when you disagree with whatever's going on with that person. Walk it back. It's easier to do it when you do agree. Walk it back again. Start with validation of self. Naming emotions. Maybe even telling yourself it's okay to have those emotions. It's a hard time right now. You can hear how the validation of self sounds a lot like the demonstration, the examples I was using for validating others. So start with the validation. It doesn't mean you're giving yourself an excuse to not do any work. It doesn't mean you're lazy. We don't really say that in unorthodox and working with people anyway. We don't really use that word. We don't judge the shit out of ourselves. We validate our emotions. We don't attach meaning to the thoughts. And then we decide how we want to problem solve around those emotions. So I hope that helps. Good luck with the validation statements. We'll do a little separation of thoughts and feelings next time. And you can always DM me here on Insta. You can go to the website, drjjkelly.com. And if you want to work with me or just have a consultation, that you can set up an appointment there. And there's also the number there, so you can text there. I mean, there are hella ways to get a hold of me if you want to. But if you ever have a question that you want answered on the Throw Up Thursdays, let me know and I will address it next time. Be well. Bye.
Get in touch with me, Dr. JJ Kelly, the punk rock doc, at drjjkelly.com.